A month later, David signed up for a trek to Mount Kilimanjaro. It wasn't the world's tallest mountain, but for a man who had never hiked more than 2 miles, it might as well have been Everest. From the moment his boots hit the uneven trail, every step felt heavier than the last. By the end of the first day, sores covered his feet, and his lungs felt like they were on fire from the thin air. The first night, as he sat shivering in his tent, doubt started to creep in, whispering insidious thoughts. He almost turned back in the morning, until he noticed an older woman in his group, walking stick in hand, smiling despite limping heavily on what appeared to be a bruised leg. Her determination stirred something in him. A flicker, fragile but real. David laced up his boots and pressed on. As the days passed, the mountain revealed its beauty and cruelty in equal measure. Towering ridges stole his breath and tested his spirit. He became painfully aware of his weaknesses. Every gasping breath, every stumble over jagged rocks reminded him of how unprepared he was. But it wasn't just the mountain that taught him lessons. He found unexpected camaraderie in the strangers trekking alongside him. There was Matteo, who had survived cancer and was climbing to raise awareness. Emma, a young artist who sold her paintings to fund the journey, carried a memorial flag for her late brother. And then there was Rose, the limping woman who inspired David on her worst days. Each of them had a reason to climb, a story heavier than the backpacks they carried. And in their perseverance, David found courage. On the 6th day, as they prepared for the summit push, an ice storm rolled in, turning the path into a treacherous gauntlet of icy winds and near-zero visibility. Their guide warned them to stay close together, every step now a gamble. By the 4th hour of climbing in the freezing dark, David felt his strength faltering. His hands were numb, his legs so heavy he feared they might buckle at any moment. He thought about quitting, about the warm bed waiting for him back at the base camp. And then, as the sun started to arc over the horizon, the snowstorm broke in a blaze of golden light. The summit came into view, magnificent and surreal. He could see Matteo hoisting his cancer awareness flag, while Emma cried silently, clutching her brother's memorial. Rose stood quietly, the tears streaking down her face, reflecting every ounce of pain and glory this mountain demanded. And David? He fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the sheer enormity of what he had achieved. In that moment, he realized that the mountain wasn't just a physical challenge. It was a mirror, a colossal, unrelenting reflection of the fears and doubts he had carried for years. And now, standing at 19,341 feet above the world, he saw himself for who he truly was, someone capable of more than he had ever believed. As they descended, he didn't feel lighter because he left his burdens behind. They were still there, waiting for him in the life he left below. But now, he carried with him something greater. The knowledge that challenges weren't meant to break us. They were the chisels that carved us into something stronger. Climbing Kilimanjaro didn't just teach David that he could reach literal heights. It showed him that every summit, every insurmountable challenge, begins with a single step forward. What's your mountain? Whether it's a dream, a fear, or a challenge you've been putting off, maybe now is the time to take that first step. Sometimes, it's in the hardest climbs that we discover who we truly are.